We'll make a start in today's webinar. I'm just going to make sure that you can see my slides and I'll start to introduce myself. Let me just ensure that you can see my slide. Fantastic. We'll go from the beginning. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this QAHE Solent Pathway webinars. My name is Jacob Miles. I am the College Director at our Solent Pathway Centre in Southampton. Before we get into today's session, can I just please request that people's microphones are turned off, but ideally your cameras are turned on so we can see your faces and we can interact with you throughout today's webinar. Now, today's webinar will be about an hour, no more, no less, and it will be an opportunity for you to get to know a little bit more about the Solent Pathway and what we do at Southampton, and ensure that you have a really sound understanding of the programs that we offer and the potential progression routes in which students can go on to at the fantastic Solent University here in Southampton. So, just so you've got a bit of a sense of what we're going to be covering in this webinar, we're going to outline the series, so you'll be aware that this is the first inaugural webinar for our pathway, and we have 6 other webinars that will give you a good sense of what's going on here in Southampton. Today, I really want to ensure that you guys have a great understanding of what the foundation program is and the potential progression routes connected to the pathway. And then I've got a fantastic colleague here in the chat today from Solent University, Maritza, who will give us a short introduction into Solent University, Southampton, and give you guys a real good oversight into the city itself. And then from there, we're going to have a quick look at some progression routes, and we'll have a student, a pathway alumni, Michael Devwama, who will give us a bit of an understanding of his story and what he's gone through and where is he going. And then we'll leave some time at the end for any potential questions regarding what we've covered in this webinar. Whilst we're here, we're really keen to get an understanding of where you guys are in the world. So could I ask you, as people are joining, could you just put in the chat? I can't see the chat today. Linda, my colleague, will be looking at it, and Jolene. Could you put in the chat where you're from, where you're coming from today, so we get a sense of where you are, but also the potential courses that you're interested in or the foundation degrees that you're interested in. And as I go through today's webinar, feel free to ask questions as Jolene, our program leader, and Linda, our program support specialist, will be on hand to pick up any of those questions. Please also be aware that I am recording today's session and we'll make sure that we get recordings out to all applicants that are part of this webinar series to ensure that you guys have a resource in which you can go back to and kind of check if you want to find out a little bit more. Okay. So, welcome to the webinar series. You are joining us on our first inaugural welcome webinar. And you can see here, we're going to take you through step by step different parts of the foundation program. So really getting to understand the different pathways that we have. And then we're going to move on to an English focus to give you guys a really good understanding of the kind of the English requirements and what kind of English modules we incorporate into our programs. And then going from there, we want to really champion how we use the student voice and the student experience at our Solent Pathway, going through to a bit more life in Southampton. What's it like to live in this amazing city as a student? Then we'll start talking to you a bit more about what are those progression routes and ensuring that you can interact with Solent academics and the leadership team and ask the questions about what's going to happen in my first and second and third year, what kind of facilities or academic support will be there. And that's what this webinar is all about. And then finally, we'll have a final preparations and pre-arrival webinar to give you guys all that key information about where you need to, what you need to be preparing and where you need to be, what you need to be arranging to ensure that there is a smooth transition here to our Southampton programme. Now, I've been talking a lot about the International Foundation Programme. We call it the IFP. And this is the programme in which myself and my team deliver at Solent Southampton University. Now, this pathway that we deliver, we call it the IFP. It is an opportunity for you, a student, to develop a set of core skills to ensure that you can successfully progress into a UK university educational degree, and that is with Solent. And then from there, Solent will provide you up to 3 years of undergraduate study, ensuring that you are fully prepared and fully equipped for your future. That could be into a postgraduate study, that could be into the world of work. But what I'm trying to emphasize with this slide is that it all starts here with us. It starts here with the Solent International Foundation Programme. We offer very much a scaffolded way of learning to ensure that you have a soft landing from wherever you are in the world into the UK, and gives you the time and the space and the support to really understand what does it take to be a successful academic student in a higher education institution in the UK. And my team work exceptionally hard to ensure that we provide the space and the opportunities for each of our students to develop those core skills, be it your academic skills, your English skills, or even that subject-specific knowledge. That's what our IFP is all about. It's about providing each student with a really firm base or foundation to successfully progress into a Solent University. Now, what are the aims of the IFP? Our aims are really straightforward. We want to empower students. We want you, the student, to feel confident when they're completing assessments, when you're in a UK university. We want you to be able to integrate. So we want to provide times and opportunities for our students to integrate with each other, but also to integrate into the UK culture and UK higher education system. Okay. The two final things for us is academic development. This is crucial for us. We want to ensure that each student has the academic skills and mindset to effectively complete a range of assessments in which will set that student up to succeed when they go into that Solent University degree. And then finally, it's student experience. We are driven to ensure that each student has a fantastic experience here at Solent University. And we do this in a multitude of ways. We want to encourage students to access the university facilities. We want students to socialize and integrate. And we do this by putting on a range of different activities and engagements to ensure that each student has their special student experience here at Solent on our International Foundation Programme. So there are 4 key aims. Now, I'm aware that people have different understandings of what the IFP structure is, but here with this slide, I'm trying to clearly identify what the International Foundation Programme is. And how we split this up is we provide around about 20 hours a week of taught learning. Okay, and this is broken down into our 4 EAP modules, so English is for academic purpose modules. And then we combine these 4 modules with 2 subject-specific pathway modules. Okay, and so you're aware, at Solent University, the QAHE pathway, we deliver 3 different pathways, and that is our STEM pathways, that is our creative pathways, and that is our business pathways. Each of these pathways comprise of, as you can see here, 2 modules that are subject specific and will provide each student with the core knowledge which they will need to progress on to, for instance, a business degree, an arts degree, or an engineering degree. I'm just going to pause for 1 second just to request that could everybody ensure that their microphones are switched to mute, just so we're not confusing what's going on within this webinar. Thank you. Cool. So within those 4 English modules, we provide 4 different ways of learning. So we have our applied academic skills, which focuses on developing those academic skills and classroom behaviours. We have academic English, which is very much an IELTS-driven program to ensure that you, the student, can meet those English requirements set by the university. We have academic language and context, which is a fantastic module to develop the skills around group work and presentations. And then finally, we have a module called Research Project, which is a fantastic small project that allows students to develop those key writing and research skills in which they'll need to apply when they go through their university degree and face things like their thesis. And together, as you can see here, these 4 English modules and 2 pathway modules will encompass 6 modules in total through the International Foundation Programme. I'm just going to request again that microphones are switched to mute, just to ensure that we are not conflicting on our audio. So please ensure that your microphones are mute.
Jake, I think you are on mute. You're still on mute.
Hello, everybody. Maritza, can you hear me?
Yes, we've got you back.
Maritza, can I hand over to you for the Southampton slides, please?
Yes, of course you can. Please go ahead. Hi, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Maritza. I'm part of the recruitment team here at Solent University. I cover specifically the Southern African region as well as the USA. But thank you all for joining us today. So a little bit about Southampton. Southampton is an incredible place to be a young student. So if you've not visited, please do book in a slot to come and visit us on our campus. It's the largest city in the southeast outside of London. It's 10 minutes away from the New Forest National Park. Between us and the local community, we host a number of introductory events for students to be able to kind of get acquainted with their surroundings. So we host walking trips, we host our day away trips and events such as those for students to participate in. We have a population just over 250,000 people, and about 30,000 students occupy the space. It is good to remember that Southampton is home to 2 big universities, Solent being the second largest university in Southampton. We take part of the place where it's city centre. That's where most of Solent University is based. So there's a lot of interaction between the local community in the city centre and the university as well. Over the recent years, we've seen a lot of change in Southampton. There's been 1.6 billion new developments in the city, and more to continue as well over the years to come. Sorry. We have about 180 plus pubs, bars, cafes, and restaurants. These are not just incredible places for students to interact and meet with locals, but also great opportunities for students that are looking for part-time jobs to kind of seek those part-time opportunities. Southampton is home to one of the largest ports in the country, and so we have loads of cruise ships coming in and out, and also locals taking part in adventures to go and see other parts of the world via the cruise that kind of come here. It's a historical city. As they say, the Titanic's landed here, started here. I'm not very sure which of the two. I always get that one confused, but nevertheless, it's a great place to be as a young person. We have a local airport here, which is 10 minutes away from the main city centre. One can get a train to there or get a bus from right outside the university if they want to do little trips across Europe. Southampton Airport has flights that go to Brussels, Geneva, Amsterdam, Munich, Dublin, Edinburgh. So again, over those 3 years, you'll be able to, as a student, you'll be able to take part in that. And Michael, who's on the call later on, who is the IFP student, might be able to share some of his stories, because I know that he's taken advantage of being you know, in Southampton, and us having an airport. I think the last time I spoke to him, he said he'd been somewhere in Europe, which was great. It's always great for our students to be able to explore the rest of the world and use Solent in Southampton as a stepping stone for that. 10 happiest and sunniest and warmest city in the country. I can say that's true right now because it's really sunny and the weather's out. It's been out all weekend. So yeah, it's a great place to be. It's cheap and it's affordable for students. Like I said, Solent is right in the heart of the city centres, which means that everything is within walking distance. We encourage all of our students to stay in Southampton because it allows them the opportunity to kind of integrate into the community and be able to walk to and fro places. I mean, I live 15 minutes away from the campus itself, so it's always within walking distance. A bus, if you want to get a bus on a rainy day, it's about £1 for a single, so it's relatively cheap. And if you want to get to London on the weekend, if you have a rail card, it's about £26 for a return ticket. So that can give you a bit of a price point of what you're working with. Trains are about 70 minutes away from central London. We have a train that goes to Victoria from Southampton, and we have a train that goes to Waterloo directly as well. As other destinations, you can get to Birmingham quite quickly from here. You can get to Cardiff within 2 hours. So we're very, very well connected. And so that's a little bit about Southampton as a city and as a place for students to stay and study. A little bit about our facilities. If you're not aware, Southampton, Solent recently was awarded triple gold in TEF. And so part of that was to do with our student support and student experience, but also some of the facilities that we have here on campus. We have a lot of facilities that are industry focused. So we've got 2 fully featured radio and audio recording studios, a specialist fashion and hair and makeup studio, professional grade newsroom, photography studios, animation studios. Our sports center has just had a revamp as well. So all of our labs have been revamped. We've got a state-of-the-art sports facility. We've got lab works. We've just had a new nursing studio that just opened for interactive nursing opportunities for our students that are joining our nursing courses. So there's a lot of investment that goes into our facilities here at the university. And to the next one. Another thing that makes Solent so unique for our students, it's the ability for students that are on the IFP to transition into regular life in the university. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of student events that we host via our international support team. And these events are not just open for students that are studying a degree at Solent, but also for students that are doing the IFP. At Welcome Week, we had a number of events that were available. We had karaoke a few weeks back, and these IFP students can come in and join these events because it helps them get involved in the culture of Solent. But we also have a lot of spaces that they can themselves also access while they're here. And this is part of our on-campus student village, which would be the student Solent creative spaces, the workshop spaces. They also have access to Solent Futures, which is our on-campus employability team and careers team. We have a sensory room, which is available for our students to access as well. And we have a multi-faith space that's available. Students are also able to engage with the activities hosted by our student union, as well as engage with any events or any campaigns that the student union is hosting. So again, our IFP students are just as much as part of the Solent student body as any other student. We're all a community here. And I just hope that any student that's on the call that's hoping to join us will feel that when they arrive. Thank you very much.
So again, Maritza, thank you very much for your time delivering that, and I hope that gave a sense to people that there is a lot of support here at Solent University. Before I continue, I just want to double check, Maritza, you can hear my audio.
Yes, I can hear your audio.
Fantastic. I do apologize earlier, everybody, that you couldn't quite hear me. So I just want to carry on from what Maritza's saying. I think Solent University offers a fantastic space and experience to international students. One, because its location, okay? As Maritza said, you are about an hour and 10 minutes away from central London into Waterloo or Victoria. And these are really quick train lines, really consistent. Once you find yourself at Southampton, Solent University is a 10-minute walk away from the train station in central Southampton, surrounded by parks, surrounded by fantastic shopping spaces, restaurants. So you are really in the heart of the city when you come to Solent University. Though being in the city, you feel like you are in a safe retreat. The university is a really lovely campus based on the edge of a park, and you'll find yourselves, you're very tranquil and you have access to a range of green spaces just inside the city. So I highly recommend Southampton as a city for students due to its proximity to London, but also just it's by the sea and you get to experience a lot of green spaces surrounded by city as well. So it's a really great meet in the middle for students wanting that special experience. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about progression. So when you come to the International Foundation Programme, the goal for each of our students is to progress into a university standard course, which we call a level 4 initially, which is an undergraduate degree, and then you'll progress through that degree and graduate in those 3 years. As you would have heard earlier, I identified that the Solent pathway delivers 3 different pathways. Okay, so we have our science, technology, engineering, and mathematical pathway. We have our creative pathway, and we have our business pathway. Now, each of these tracks, each of these pathways presents multiple progression routes into the university at Solent. So you can see here, I've not listed all of them, but what I've tried to identify are the range and scope of progression degrees available to students here at the Solent pathway. Now, the key thing I really want to mention here is that each of these pathways have those 2 pathway-specific modules that will build that kind of foundational understanding to ensure that if you say, for instance, come on the business pathway, you're going to be presented with 2 core modules that will ensure that you, the student, have that sound foundational understanding in which you could succeed in business management through to sociology. Okay, this is our core goal, is to ensure that the pathways in which we deliver to our students provide that really strong scaffolding and support to succeed in a multiple range of progression degrees. Again, these are just a few that I've listed. We have over 50 plus progression degrees. I recommend that you check out our website, which I will depict at the end of this slideshow, to explore all the progression degrees available. But I'm also sure that you'll be interacting with multiple agents and admissions teams and recruitment teams that will be able to give you that advice about what kind of pathway might be for you. Now, what I'd like to do now is introduce you to one of our alumni, which is Michael. Michael, are you on the call with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Michael. Michael, just before I get started talking with you, I just want to kind of introduce Michael. Michael is an alumni, so someone that's gone through the International Foundation Programme. He joined our programme in 2020. And he has a fantastic story, actually. Michael's progressed through the International Foundation Programme and is now in his final year at Solent University. So we're really thankful to have Michael on the call today, because I know that he has quite a lot of assessments and potentially even an exam starting a little bit later today. Michael, I've got a few questions on the slide here, but are you okay just to kind of talk us through what your journey was up until now? I think that would be kind of a better place to start.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and speak up my experiences here. So I moved from Nigeria to the UK to study at Solent University. I started from the foundation program as well in 2020, and then I progressed onto the degree program in renewable energy engineering. And I'm currently doing my final year, looks like Jacob just said. It's been a massive journey for me, because moving down here in 2020 was really a difficult time, considering that it was really COVID period at that time. But now it's, I'm grateful for everything. Over the past 2 years, I've been involved with several university projects, ranging from, project on my course to project outside of university, just to like have a balance between university and social life. And it's been a massive pleasure to be here today to talk to prospective students that are coming onto the IFP program.
So, Michael, I think that's a fantastic start. Let's talk a bit about. I'm quite interested. What kind of drew you to this particular pathway? What did Southampton offer that other universities couldn't offer? What was the city like? Why did you come to Solent University?
Well, thank you very much. So Solent, for me, Solent love for several reasons. First of all, I didn't know Solent, I have to be honest, but I had to do my own proper research. And I spoke to other people like agents in Nigeria who were like, oh, this particular university offers this. So they gave me different options that they work with. So I did my own research and I found out that Solent, in terms of what I wanted to become, in terms of maybe energy management and an energy consultant, Solent offered that, would give me that opportunity to do that than other universities. That doesn't mean that the other universities are not really great. They are fantastic, but in terms of what you want to become in the next 5 years, sometimes you ask yourself, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Solent offered that opportunity for me. That is why I chose Solent over other universities. The proximity to London was another one for me. And of course, if you've watched Titanic, you'll be like, Solent is actually the best place to come because here is the home of the Titanic. For me, I would call it the home of the Titanic. Having the opportunity to go to the Titanic Museum here and see for yourself what Jack and Rose did. So it was a fantastic opportunity for me. So yeah, I researched and I found out that this was the city for that. And I also looked at the modules, of course. The modules were really, they aligned with what I wanted to be like, become in the energy industry. Solent offered that pathway, that reassurance that I was going to get all the stuff within this time limit, and this was what other universities were not able to offer me. So yeah, that's why I chose Solent over other universities.
And that's really helpful to hear, Michael. So from what I'm getting from that is you really felt that Solent set you up for that world of work, right? Making sure that you are
absolutely.
your work ready.
And future ready.
And just talk to me a little bit before, because obviously you came through the International Foundation Program. What kind of things did you pick up on that program that ensured that you're going to be the student you are today at Solent? What did you learn on the IFP that set you up to go into
I think that's a very
university?
good question. Yeah, that's a very good question because for me, I learned a lot about teamwork, collaboration skills, because it's up to now it's very essential. Like I just excused my team over there and I said I'm going to be away for 15 minutes. Collaboration skills is one of the big skills that you're going to like learn during the foundation program, how you can collaborate and work together to achieve a common goal. Yeah, so that was one of the big things I learned. Time management is also very essential because as an international student, you are involved in a lot of things. I work part-time as an international student. It's one of the opportunities you have. Yeah, it's a privilege, to be honest, to work alongside your studies if you can. And then, time management, because obviously your main priority is your university and your university assessment and assignment and project. But having the opportunity to get involved in other projects or at work was also a big thing for me. So time management was one of the things the foundation program taught me during the time I was in the foundation program. Yeah, so I would say give it a go to this new prospective applicant.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think one of the things that we picked up on there is that the importance of teamwork and working within group projects and managing your time. And, we find that the way we structure our modules ensures that students can really develop those skills in kind of a safe space before they go on to that undergraduate course.
Absolutely.
Michael, talk to me about internships, because I know that you've been able to secure different internships that's kind of added to your understanding of what it's like to work in the UK. How has Solent helped with that, and what kind of internships did you do?
Thank you very much. This is what I love talking about because when I did my foundation, like I said, I learned all the skills there, and Solent was really, really helpful as well. Their early careers team would actually help you set up your CV, talk to you about assessment center, assessment, online tests, online video interviews, And I've had the opportunity of going for several assessments. In fact, I have an interview tomorrow for another internship position. But before that, last summer I had the opportunity of, obviously I work as a customer services professional at the University of Southampton, which is another university in Southampton. And during last summer, I took the time off to like improve on myself and work in the industry, because I secured a summer internship at Octopus Energy, which is always an energy company here in the UK. So I moved to London for that time, for the period of the summer internship. And for me, it was really, really great experience, having to, bring the theoretical experience you've had from Solent and gaining that practical experience. Just a combination of everything has made me who I am today. And to be honest, it wouldn't have been possible without, this university and the support I've gotten so far. I remember before securing the internship, I went to the Ellis Careers office at the Spark building, and I spoke to them about, opportunities, about learning, about how to improve on my interview skills, assessment center skills, things to say during an interview. To be honest, and it has actually improved my communication skills. Obviously, English has always been my first language, but I've improved dramatically since moving down to the UK and since having this internship. Yeah, Solent has been really helpful. Then I finished internship, returned back to uni now, and I've secured a place already for my post-university life, which starts in 17th of June. So I have just a few weeks before I start my new internship in Reading. So I'm working as a carbon management and sustainability research analyst at IPA Global, which is an American firm, where I'll be working on the US energy market. So I've been able to analyze the UK energy market at Octopus Energy, and now I'll be focusing on the US energy market when I start on the 17th of June. So it's been a brilliant experience. Yes, I've secured a place, but I still have other interviews lined up for other opportunities to come.
Wow, Michael, first of all, congratulations. You're a very busy man, so we appreciate your time. And congratulations on securing that that opportunity. Michael, what I want to know about is when you came to the UK, what was kind of your biggest challenges and how did you overcome them?
I think for me, one of my biggest challenges, I would say, was COVID. I think it's really pretty obvious because I moved to the UK in 2020. It was really, really tough moving down here from Nigeria. Obviously, no one told me about the cold. It's really hot in Nigeria. So I'm just letting you guys know it's quite cold during the winter, but that's not the end of the world because you're going to get used to it. I mean, the weather for me, COVID was actually the main thing. Being away from family, friends, you have to self-isolate, quarantine. It was hard. I think that was the most difficult part of my time here in the UK. But you don't want to focus too much on the negative side or the difficult side. You have to focus on how you could improve yourself, on how you could overcome those challenges. And for me, how I overcome these challenges was just to join several team at the university. Like we have a lawn tennis court at the university. I wish I could show you now. It's just right opposite the university. So sometimes I go there and play tennis with people who I just meet at the lawn tennis courts. I had to buy my own racket and balls to play tennis. So one of the things I just used to while I wait time during that time. Then joining the gym was also a big one for me. But I would say the opportunity to just meet new people, play tennis together, learn about, different culture, travel when you have the time. Because obviously after that period, I had to travel to regain my sanity. I've had the opportunity of being to 8 countries. And one of them is these pictures of me here, which is, I was in Thailand with the university. So I've had loads of opportunities and they've helped me to overcome some of the challenges I experienced just moving back here in 2020.
Michael, that's a really good answer. I guess to summarize, a key thing is for people on the call that, it's worth being aware about the weather in the UK. It's right now we're very blessed. We've got sun shining and it's kind of 20 degrees. We're okay. But you're right, Michael,
behind me. So.
the winter can be a bit cold and can be a bit wet. So if you are a student on the call or potentially advise students, it's worth just ensuring that students are aware that, make sure you do pack a coat, make sure that you are prepared for a bit of cold or wet. Michael, you did mention the tennis courts as too, and I feel really bad. So just so people are aware that we have a fantastic a range of facilities at Solent regarding sport. So we have a really state-of-the-art gym. We have tennis courts that are open to the public, and multiple other facilities, which we'll go into detail as we go through the next few webinars. Michael, my last thing for you, because I know that you are busy and I know that you've got an exam, so I don't want to keep you for too much longer, is what would be your one piece of like advice for students or even potentially education agents that are on this call about preparing students for UK higher education and preparing to come to the UK? What would be your advice for them?
Well, I have lots of advice for me. Before I give the advice, let me tell you about a little story. So just being on this course and, on my final year now, I've learned a lot. So when I see a lot of like international students who come into the university and they struggle, I try to help them in every way I can. Sometimes I give them advice. We meet at the library. You make friends in the library. You can just sit next to someone who is like, on the computer doing their work, and we are doing their work, and you could just, peep on their computer and see that, oh, what they're doing is quite interesting, and we just make friends like that. And I've had the opportunity of meeting a lot of like international students who said how I could support them in, or they would just want to hear my story, and I tell them, some of these advices is that you just have to be open-minded, because a lot of like international students come to the UK and they struggle to like integrate. One of the big piece of advice I'll give to you is to like integrate into the culture, the system here, because it's going to be easier for you if you can integrate. So integration is one of the big things I would say. Take advantage of every opportunity the university has to offer. Sport, gym facilities, academic libraries that we have here. So there are a lot of things I would also seek out and embrace any opportunities like internships, projects, because all these are also expanding your professional network, not just in your academic way, but when you go outside of university. Just having the opportunity to do a summer internship last year, I have the opportunity of meeting like people from all over the UK and from all over the world, and now I've secured a place already in another firm. So I think another thing again is seek out help whenever you need help, because it's very, very essential. Your lecturers are there to like support you and see you throughout your whole academic year or the period of you be studying. Because I remember when I was applying for some of these internship and jobs, they would require like what we call it references, and of course these are your lecturers are the ones who will be able to stand and say things about you. So you have to make sure you impress and perform really well in class, obviously, before they can actually stand for you as referee. So take advantage of every opportunity and check your emails. Very important. And that is another important one. A lot of students get emails and they forget to check their email. Oh, because I've seen someone who actually forgot about an assessment they had. The information was disseminated through emails, but they didn't get the email. They got the email, but they didn't check. So always check your university email. Very, very essential. Speak to friends, make friends on your course and outside of your course, because if, for example, you forgot to check your emails, for example, you still have someone who you can like contact and say, hey, what time is the exam? Just today, I've had lots of like emails and messages from my friends. Oh, what time is our exam today? Of course, we have an exam at 2:00. So yeah, these are some of the advices I'll give to like prospective students coming in. Obviously, there are loads of other things, but these are some of the things I can dish out for today.
Hey, look, Michael, I think you pick up on some really big things. Integration for sure, and making sure that you are, as a student, accessing all these opportunities and experiences. I think that's a great piece of advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael, what we're going to do is I'm going to thank you for your time. You're welcome to stay on the call for a bit longer. If you've got any questions for Michael, feel free to put them in the chat, and I can view them and Michael can view them. And this will be an opportunity to ask any questions to a student that has gone through the International Foundation Programme here at Solent. So again, Michael, thank you very much for your time today. I'm going to move on and wrap this up, if that's okay. Michael, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you have any one more question, like Jacob said, you can reach out to me. I think, should I drop my email address or you're going to have
Michael,
that?
Michael, what I'll do is when I share these slides and recording, I'll drop your email in that communication, and people can get in touch with you if they've got any specific questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Cool.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity once again, and enjoy the rest of the program. I have to round off my exams now.
A pleasure and good luck, Michael.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Good to see you, Michael.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to do now is to leave the last, I'd say, 10 minutes or so for any potential questions that people would like to ask. I can view questions in the chat, so if you want to write anything and add it in, we're happy to answer them. Again, I must apologise for the audio issue earlier. We'll make sure that these slides are sent out to you. Please note our next session is getting to know the Solent IFP. So in this session, we will be going through in detail about the particular pathways, and my team will be on the call giving you insights, tips, handy bits of knowledge to ensure that you or your students are prepared for potentially a business pathway, creative pathway, or STEM pathway. And that will be in the 3rd of June, same time, same place. And I do look forward to seeing you, but I am going to stay on the call for the next 10 minutes or so if anyone has any kind of questions that they would like to ask about today's webinar. Again, thank you so much for all your time. My name's been Jacob, and on the following slide, you'll be able to get my contact details, but I will leave this space now for a bit of time for any potential questions that students may have. I will take that silence as we've told everybody what they need to know today. Again, just to repeat, I really look forward to seeing everybody in our next webinar, which will be on the 3rd of June, same time, same place. And here you'll be able to find my contact details. So if you do have any particular questions that do pop into your mind after today's webinar, fire me an email, feel free to give me a call, and I look forward to hearing from you all soon. And I'll see you guys on June the 3rd at 11 a.m. right here. Thank you very much for your time today. Christian, before I shoot off, Christian, I can see you've got a question regarding deposit. I recommend that question to be directed to QAHE Admissions and Finance, as they'd be able to guide you in how to complete that deposit payment. I hope that answers your question for you.
Hi, Jacob. I have a question. It's Juliana from Colombia.
Hello,
Hi,
Juliana. Lovely to hear from you.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. And how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Just a question. The student that was talking before, he was saying about the internship options that he has during his bachelor's, but I was wondering if that was just on the summertime, or there are other like types of like the sandwich year, or there are just only options on the summertime.
So for Michael's case, he did a 3-year course. So his internships were during the summer period and Easter period. As far as I'm aware, the progression routes that we offer aren't sandwich courses, so we're unable to offer that, for instance, a year off to work. But what I would say is the university works hard with the likes of Solent Futures, which I think maybe your colleagues visited and once they were on campus, to support in finding those summer internships. There are in some courses, potentially opportunity to go for like days work experience within the modules, but not necessarily full internships, as we don't offer sandwich progression courses.
Okay, thank you.
Nice to hear from you, Juliana. Just gonna have a quick look in the chat, see if we've got any more questions. I don't want to keep anyone too much. Thanks, Guy. Guy, good to see you join us today. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, ladies and gents, if there are no more questions, I am more than happy for people to leave this chat, enjoy 10 minutes of sun, and I'll see you all in the next few weeks. Guy, I'll make sure that I share this with you to then push out to agents and the team. Is that okay, Guy?
Yeah, thank you for that.